How to fully empty your bladder in 3 scientifically proven steps. Have you ever left the bathroom only to feel that your bladder is still not completely empty? Many men over 60 notice a lingering pressure or experience small leaks after urinating, and while it may seem minor, it can quietly affect daily comfort and confidence. When urine remains inside, bacteria can multiply, raising the risk of urinary tract infections, kidney stones, and repeated nighttime awakenings that steal away restful sleep. Studies in urology show that this problem is often linked to the way the bladder muscles and pelvic floor work together. And the good news is that simple changes in posture and breathing can help. In this video, I will guide you through 3 scientifically proven steps that support complete bladder emptying without medication or surgery. The third step is rarely discussed but may surprise you with how effective it can be. So stay with me until the end. And before we move into those steps, let's first understand why not fully emptying the bladder is such an important issue for men as we age. Why incomplete emptying is a serious problem. When we talk about bladder health, it helps to picture the bladder as a muscular storage tank. Its job is to contract and push urine through the urethra, while the pelvic floor muscles act like a supportive sling that opens and closes the pathway. If the bladder muscle is weak, or if the pelvic floor remains too tight, or if we create too much abdominal pressure by straining, the result is the same: urine is left behind instead of flowing out completely. Research in urology confirms that even small amounts of retained urine can trigger complications over time. John, a 68-year-old retired teacher, once told me that he visited the bathroom frequently during the day, yet still leaked a few drops afterward. He felt embarrassed when traveling or meeting friends, constantly searching for the nearest restroom. His story shows how this issue is not only a physical inconvenience, but also an emotional burden, quietly stealing confidence and peace of mind. The medical risks are also very real. Residual urine provides a perfect environment for bacteria, raising the chance of urinary tract infections. Crystals can form and turn into kidney stones. Repeated night awakenings disrupt deep sleep, leaving men fatigued and irritable during the day. Over time, these small leaks and interruptions can erode both health and quality of life. That is why the 3 steps I am about to share are so important. They are simple techniques grounded in science that can help the bladder empty more fully, reduce health risks, and restore a sense of ease and confidence. Now that we understand the problem, let us move into the first practical step you can try right away. Step number 1. Sit down and relax while urinating. Thomas, a 72-year-old grandfather, told me once that he had stood while urinating his entire life. For him, sitting down to pee felt strange, almost unmanly at first, yet when his doctor encouraged him to try, he was surprised by the difference. Within a week, Thomas noticed fewer dribbles after leaving the bathroom and felt less urgency to return only minutes later. His story is important because it shows how a simple shift in posture, though unusual at first, can bring real relief. Why does sitting make such a difference? When we sit on the toilet with our feet flat on the floor, leaning slightly forward with elbows resting on the knees, the muscles in the lower abdomen and pelvic floor naturally begin to relax. Taking slow, deep breaths helps reduce abdominal pressure. This relaxation allows urine to flow freely without obstruction. In contrast, when men stand, there is a tendency to hurry, to clench the abdominal muscles and push harder in an effort to finish quickly. While it may feel as if pushing speeds up the stream, in reality, it traps urine inside by tightening the very muscles meant to release it. Research in pelvic floor health shows that straining increases intra-abdominal pressure and can cause the urethra to kink, much like bending a garden hose. When the hose is bent, water does not flow smoothly, and the same is true for urine flow. Many men believe that forcing or straining will help empty the bladder completely. Unfortunately, the opposite is true. By bearing down, the abdominal pressure increases and presses against the bladder and urethra. The pelvic floor responds by tightening, which acts like closing a valve. Instead of helping, this action interrupts the flow and traps residual urine. Over time, repeated straining can also weaken the bladder muscle, making it harder for the bladder to contract naturally. It is a bit like squeezing a balloon too forcefully. Some air comes out, but when you stop pressing, you realize much of it remains inside. The body deserves a gentler, more natural approach. The sitting position creates that gentleness. By leaning forward and supporting your elbows on your knees, you remove unnecessary pressure from the bladder and give the pelvic floor muscles permission to let go. Breathing deeply not only calms the body, but also encourages the nervous system to reduce tension in the pelvic area. Think of it as creating an open pathway rather than trying to force a blocked door. With practice, the bladder empties more fully, and the sense of leftover urine decreases significantly. Thomas described it well when he said, "At first, I felt silly sitting down, but then I realized my body felt more relaxed, and I was no longer fighting against myself." This feeling of ease is exactly what men should aim for. There is no shame in sitting, especially at home where privacy allows you to focus on your health. Standing in public restrooms is practical, of course, but when you are at home, choosing to sit is a small act of self-care. Another important point is patience. Emptying the bladder completely can take a few extra seconds. Spending an additional 30 seconds on the toilet will not disrupt your schedule, but it may save you hours of frustration later. The small investment of time leads to fewer leaks, fewer return trips, and greater comfort. Imagine the difference of leaving the bathroom knowing your bladder is truly empty, without that nagging doubt or sudden dribble moments later. If you have ever been frustrated by leftover drops, this first step can be a game changer. Sit down, lean forward, place your elbows on your knees, and breathe slowly until the stream finishes naturally. Resist the urge to strain or rush, and allow your body to do what it was designed to do. Over time, you will notice greater ease, fewer leaks, and a sense of control returning to your daily life. If you find this step helpful, leave me a comment with the number 1 below, so I know you are ready to move forward with me. Now that we have covered the first strategy, let us build upon it. The next method adds a simple action after you believe you have finished, and it is one that can help release the urine that often lingers quietly inside. This second step is called double voiding, and it may surprise you with how effective it can be. Step number 2. Double voiding, urinating twice. George, a 65-year-old retired engineer, once told me with a mix of frustration and humor, I would leave the bathroom, sit down to watch television, and within 10 minutes, I was back at the toilet again, for years. He thought this was simply a part of aging, something unavoidable that he had to accept. But when he learned about the technique of double voiding and practiced it daily, he noticed a dramatic change. No more quick return trips, no more nagging feeling that something was still left inside. George finally felt like his bladder was cooperating with him again. So what exactly is double voiding? The process is simple, yet surprisingly effective. First, you begin by sitting down to urinate as you normally would. Take your time, allow the stream to flow naturally, and when you feel finished, stand up. Next, pause for about 4 seconds. During this brief pause, inhale deeply through your nose, exhale slowly through your mouth, and let your pelvic floor muscles soften. After this, sit back down again and attempt to urinate once more. Many men are astonished by how much additional urine comes out during this second attempt. It is almost as if the bladder had been holding onto a secret reserve, waiting for the right signal to release. The science behind this is straightforward. When you first urinate, the pelvic floor muscles and the bladder neck sometimes remain slightly contracted, like a valve that is not fully opened. This prevents every last drop from leaving the bladder. By standing up and then sitting down again, you change the position of your pelvis and signal the muscles to reset. Taking a deep breath further relaxes the pelvic floor, allowing the urethra to open more freely. This combination creates the perfect conditions for any leftover urine to be released. Urologists have observed that patients who practice double voiding regularly show reduced residual urine on bladder scans. Confirming that the method works, think of it like shaking a garden hose. After the first flow of water, some remains trapped because the hose has small bends or kinks. When you adjust the hose and give it a second shake, more water pours out. Double voiding works in a similar way for the urinary tract. The first void empties most of the bladder, but the second attempt helps clear out what lingers in the urethra or bladder neck. This small adjustment can make a large difference in comfort and health. Of course, adopting a new habit may feel odd at first. George admitted that he laughed the first few times he tried it, thinking, "Why am I sitting back down? This feels silly." But within a week, he noticed he was no longer returning to the bathroom over and over again. The sense of relief and the reduction of dribbling convinced him to keep practicing. Many men who try this technique report that within days they notice less leakage, fewer accidents, and an overall sense of confidence returning. The benefits extend beyond convenience. By clearing residual urine, double voiding reduces the risk of infections that thrive when bacteria have a warm place to grow. It decreases the chances of bladder stones forming from concentrated urine that sits too long. It even improves sleep by reducing nighttime awakenings caused by incomplete emptying. And because the technique involves only a few extra seconds, it is easy to incorporate into daily life without disrupting routines. If you recognize yourself in George's story, if you often leave the bathroom only to return again shortly after, double voiding may be exactly the practice you need. Try it consistently for a few days and observe how your body responds. Most men find it not only effective but also reassuring to know they have a simple tool that puts them back in control. If you have ever experienced this frustration, leave me a comment with the words I understand below so that we can share and support each other. Having practiced the first 2 steps, sitting to urinate and learning the double voiding technique, you are already on the way to more complete bladder emptying. But there is one more method, one that is less well known yet often the most surprising in its effectiveness. In the next section, we will explore how a gentle rocking movement can further encourage the bladder to release what remains, offering even greater relief and confidence. Step number 3. Rocking method. Gentle movement to empty completely. Robert, a 70-year-old former coach, laughed the first time he heard about this method. Rock back and forth on the toilet? That sounds ridiculous, he told me. But curiosity won, and he gave it a try. To his surprise, after just a few days of practice, he realized that more urine was coming out during the rocking motion than he ever expected. What felt silly at first became one of the most effective tools he had discovered for his bladder health. The rocking method is simple, discreet, and surprisingly powerful. After you have finished your second void, sit firmly on the toilet seat with your feet flat on the floor. Place your hands gently on your abdomen. Lean slightly forward, and then rock your torso back until it touches the back of the toilet seat. This forward and backward movement counts as 1 repetition. Repeat it 4 times, breathing steadily without holding your breath. On the 4th rock forward, pause and allow your bladder to try releasing again. Many men are shocked by how much additional urine emerges at this stage. Why does this work? When you rock forward, you gently increase the pressure inside your abdomen, but in a controlled and natural way. This small amount of pressure is enough to help push residual urine toward the urethra without straining. As you lean back, the pelvic floor muscles naturally relax, allowing the urethra to open further. The alternating cycle of gentle pressure and release works like priming a pump, helping the bladder neck and pelvic floor to cooperate more fully. Urological studies suggest that positional changes can alter how effectively the bladder empties, and the rocking method takes advantage of this principle in a very simple form. Think of it like a bottle of water with a few drops left inside. If you tilt the bottle gently back and forth, more liquid comes out than if you just set it upright. The same thing happens with your bladder. The rocking motion shifts the position of the bladder and urethra just enough to clear what remains. Unlike straining, which creates harmful pressure, rocking is gentle and safe, allowing the body to do its job without added stress. Robert described the change vividly. I never realized how much was left behind until I saw the difference with rocking. It gave me a sense of control I hadn't felt in years. His story reflects what many men experience once they try this method. It may look unusual, but in the privacy of your bathroom, no one sees, and the benefits can be significant. This technique is rarely mentioned in everyday medical conversations, yet it can be a key to improving both health and confidence. By practicing it regularly, men often notice less dribbling afterward, fewer urgent returns to the toilet, and a calmer bladder overall. Combined with sitting to urinate and practicing double voiding, the rocking method completes a 3-step strategy that supports the bladder in emptying as fully as possible. The result is fewer accidents, a lower risk of infections, and a renewed sense of freedom in daily activities. If you are ready to experiment with something simple yet effective, I encourage you to give the rocking method a try. Sit comfortably, rock gently 4 times, and then see for yourself how much easier it feels to finish completely. If you want to try this today, leave me a comment with the number 3 below so I know you are ready to join others who are already benefiting. Together. These 3 steps, sitting to urinate, double voiding, and the rocking method form a practical system that addresses one of the most common yet overlooked challenges of aging. But beyond the physical techniques, there are also daily habits that can support your bladder and make these strategies even more effective. In the next section, we will look at the lifestyle choices that influence how often you need to go, and how to keep your bladder working smoothly day and night. Supporting habits. Lifestyle adjustments for better bladder health. In addition to the 3 practical steps we have discussed, daily habits also play a powerful role in how well your bladder functions. One of the most important habits is fluid control. Drinking enough water to stay hydrated is essential, but over-consuming fluids can overload the bladder. Aim for steady, moderate intake throughout the day, and try to reduce large amounts close to bedtime. This simple adjustment alone can decrease nighttime trips to the bathroom. It is also wise to limit certain beverages that irritate the bladder. Coffee, black tea, energy drinks, soda, and alcohol all contain substances like caffeine or carbonation that increase urine production and irritate the bladder lining. Studies in urology have shown that caffeine, in particular, is linked to more frequent urination and urgency. Choosing water or herbal teas without caffeine can be a gentle way to support your body and reduce the strain on your bladder. Even food choices can make a difference. Frank, a 74-year-old retiree, used to enjoy a slice of cake before bed every night. He often woke up twice or more to urinate, disrupting his sleep. When he decided to cut out late-night sweets, he was surprised to discover that his sleep became deeper and he no longer had to get up as often. The reason is simple. Sugar binds to water molecules, prompting the kidneys to produce more urine. Avoiding sugary snacks in the evening can reduce urine production and allow the bladder to rest overnight. These habits may seem small, but together they create a foundation that supports bladder health. When combined with the 3-step technique sitting to urinate, double voiding, and gentle rocking, you give your body every chance to empty fully and stay comfortable. And once these healthy routines become part of daily life, confidence and quality of sleep improve naturally. We have now walked through 3 practical, scientifically supported steps to help you fully empty your bladder: sitting down and relaxing, practicing double voiding, and using the gentle rocking method. Alongside these, we added lifestyle adjustments such as balanced fluid intake, limiting caffeine and alcohol, and avoiding late-night sugary snacks. Each step and habit is simple on its own, yet together they form a powerful routine that can improve comfort, reduce leaks, and restore peace of mind. Remember, change does not happen overnight. Your bladder, like any other part of the body, responds gradually to consistent care. Many men find that within days they notice improvements, while for others it may take a few weeks of steady practice. What matters is patience, persistence, and the understanding that small adjustments can create meaningful results. If you take anything from this video, let it be this: you are not powerless against bladder problems. By trying these steps, you are giving your body the chance to work with you rather than against you. Confidence, comfort, and restful sleep are not out of reach. They can be reclaimed with knowledge and gentle effort. I encourage you to begin today. Try sitting to urinate, add the double voiding technique, and finish with the rocking method. Pay attention to your daily habits and notice how your body responds. Then, come back and share your experience. Leave a comment, subscribe to this channel, and let others know that they are not alone in this journey. Together, we can create a community of support where health challenges are met with wisdom, dignity, and hope.